So again, good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Fellowship of Boca Raton. I'm Eric Landstrom, and I start this presentation with the words of the Reverend Laura Randall from a worship service created by the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. This earth is our home. Some of us live on the same patch of land our ancestors have called home for millennia. Others of us have called this land home for a few generations, if that. Some of us long for a distant home we remember from our youth, and others have always lived in the town we call home. Regardless of the miles between us, this earth is our home. The distress of our planet and the turmoil of our societies, these are the circumstances we find ourselves in, regardless of what we wish were true instead. Some essential part of everyone longs for a sense of peace, a sense of belonging, a sense of rightness that can be described in no other way than home. What home means is changing and evolving for many of us. With courage, imagination, and determination, the home we help co-create with all of Earth's people will become one with more kindness, more gratitude, and more justice. Home is the place we invite others to share what we have. Hospitality often involves sharing food. In the biblical story, Abraham rolled all sides of his tent up so he could see visitors coming from far to be ready for them when they arrived. One day, 3 men approached. Abraham asked his wife Sarah to take their best flour and bake bread for their visitors. In the story, the 3 men were angels, and their visit changed the course of history. Bread was the symbol of the hospitality and welcome the strangers found in Abraham's home. We all come from homes that offered hospitality to others. Bread was a part of that welcome. In some cultures, the traditional greeting translates to, "Have you eaten?" We talk about breaking bread as a way to make peace and create safe space with strangers and even enemies. We are connected by these common traditions, and we are enriched by the diversity of cultures and traditions and food. Bread takes many forms and is made from many ingredients: sweet, savory, flat, yeasty, white, whole wheat, cornmeal, potato, taro, rice, and so on. Catholic communion uses baked flat wafers. Other Christian denominations use actual loaves of bread. We invite all in the sanctuary this morning to line up at the microphone and take a turn adding their bread to the trays on the table near the mic while they announce the country and share a memory, a personal family story, or a description of their ancestral traditions around bread, family, or process of assimilation into American culture. After the service, the bread will be taken to the kitchen to be cut into wedges and sliced and displayed with the name of the country on the card and served with butter and jam at coffee hour. So if I can ask you to line up and join us, please.
Yeah? Okay, a quick story about bread, because I love bread. My name is Adele Alexander, and for many years on Thanksgiving, my family made a bread in the shape of a cornucopia. It was a 3-pound bread about this big, and it involved making a frame to bake the bread made out of aluminum foil in the shape of a cone, and then the bread was braided, much like challah bread is braided, but that's only 3 braids. So the cornucopia bread started off with a big strip of braided, went around the cornucopia, and each part of the braid kept getting smaller and smaller until it was very tiny at the end of the cornucopia. The bread was about this big and baked with aluminum foil inside it, and little tiny vines of dough with grape leaves that we would make them look like leaves by sticking our fingernail into the little leaves to make it very decorative. So this bread, the first year that I made it, we made it and gave it to my grandson's preschool for their fundraiser. And so they liked the bread so much, they took and put a fruit basket inside the bread, and they raffled it off for $100. So bread, and it could be eaten with cinnamon butter. It was very delicious. So cornucopia bread, keep that image in your mind. It's also good for Christmas. And the bread that I brought today, because Emil was already bringing challah bread, which is in my tradition, I decided to bring French bread, because I was born in Europe, and in Europe when you get a loaf of bread, they just put a piece of paper around it and you carry it under your arm, big loaf of French bread. But my reason for bringing French bread, because my name is French.
What am I doing? I thought I was just getting bread. I guess it's a wonderful ceremony. We have bread all over the world, bread from all over the world, and I'm anxious to sample some. You're bringing bread? Come on up, Emil.
Well, no, yeah. First we'll explain it. Okay. So hi, Emil and Robin. We have brought this traditional challah, which is customarily served on Friday evenings at the Shabbos meal celebrated by Jewish households. And we hope you'll enjoy it. We added some raisins for sweetness.
All the meals start with a bracha for the bread. So before all of us eat the bread, we're going to say the hamotzi, which is the prayer over bread on Shabbos. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Thank you. That was a duet.
Right, pretty good.
Now, we bring it there?
Good morning. My name is Bill Jensen. I brought Wonder Bread. All of us grew up, or almost all of us grew up, with this platform on which peanut butter and jelly was placed, egg salad, tuna salad, ham salad. I cannot think, and believe it or not, a lot of us put a little turkey on that thing the last couple days. This bread is a traditional American bread, much as we don't like to admit it, but it's also the bread of freedom. Once upon a time, one day of the week was spent by the women in the household baking bread. They spent most of the day making bread. Suddenly, somebody makes it, delivers it to your house for cheap, nothing. All of a sudden, you have a free day that you didn't have before. So this is the American bread of freedom. Ladies, say thank you.
Celia Hirsch. I brought Irish soda bread. It's from recipe from Cooking Light. It's half whole wheat, half white. I put raisins in it too, and caraway's great, but I didn't use that because some people would not like it. My mom baked a lot. It was usually things with a lot of sugar in. She had grown up on a wheat farm in Kansas, and therefore probably loved things like butterscotch brownies, cream puffs filled with custard, just to name two. Anyway, I guess so I went a little bit different way, wanting something without all that sugar. It's easy. Irish bread, this Irish bread, no yeast in it. It has baking soda. It has buttermilk to make it rise. You simply combine the 4 ingredients, mix them, pour in the buttermilk, knead it 4 or 5 times, and put it on a greased pan. And in about half an hour, 45 minutes, you have your loaf of Irish soda bread. So that's my own take on changing family tradition. I imagine in Ireland, that was a nice, easy, and fast bread to make for the family, and they probably did it once a day for the family.
This is Stollen, which is a traditional holiday fruit and nut bread from Germany. And I made it myself once years ago, and it was an all-afternoon process. And I realized that this is one of those things that the old German mothers thought of as if it wasn't a lot of work, it wasn't worth doing. So, so I bought this one from Aldi's because
Sean, do we have anyone on Zoom to share a story?
Yes, we do. From Rona Solomon. When I was a little girl, a big treat was the heel of rye bread. On the way home from the bakery, my brother and I would each get a tiny oval of rye bread crisp. And from Judy Kaiser, Wonder Bread builds strong bodies 12 ways. Boy, do I remember that. And from Marilyn Mikulski, going to the Jewish bakery for rye bread with my dad was a weekly tradition. And again, from Judy, I grew up with homemade Italian biscotti, which we called hardtack. It was the traditional care package sent from home when I was in college. And I now bake it before long boat trips because it helps keep seasickness away.
Again, thank you everyone for sharing. As mentioned, these will be served during our coffee hours, so please stay after service is concluded and break bread with us.